It is to no one's surprise that our food production and harvest are struggling with our changing climate. But food is an essential part of human life. So how are we adapting to make sure that you get your Chipotle every day? How we farm our food has an effect on soil health and, as a consequence, crop yield. We have monocropping, which utilizes the same plot of land. This is not to be mistaken with monoculture, which means the same crop. I guess culture can be defined by how species are managed, whereas cropping is defined by how the land is managed. Monocropping can have varieties of the same plant, for example, different breeds of wheat or corn. On the flip side, we have polycropping. This is where the same plot of land is used to plant different types of crops. Again, this is not to be mistaken with polyculture, which is a farm with different plants. In other words, the main difference between cropping and cultures is that cropping is more of a farming technique, and cultures define the agricultural system. Well, these four doesn't tell us anything about how agriculture really works. There are two scales of farm in which we can apply these agricultural systems or techniques on. When we think of farms, what do we see? Do we see rows of cornfields, rows of wheat or rice paddies? Large-scale industrial farms often operate monoculturally. They're the ones that export their food or are the source of manufactured and processed foods. On the flip side, we have subsistence farms or small-scale farms. They're the ones that provide local produce, only producing enough supply for their family or community. Generally, they operate polyculturally to maximize their output whilst maintaining the health of the land. So with these different types of farming, which do you think is better for the soil and likewise food production? Monoculture and monocropping might be an efficient way to farm a particular type of crop, but it causes a lot of stress on the soil for a few reasons. The same species require the same nutrients, so quite quickly they deplete the same nutrients in the soil. Corn, for example, takes up a lot of nitrogen, and after planting corn over and over again, nitrogen levels will deplete, decreasing corn production. Less diversity of crops won't just lead to less diversity in produce, but less diversity in the soil. Different types of root systems help stabilize and strengthen the soil, while diverse types of plants maintain soil diversity, such as bacteria, fungi, worms, and insects. Okay, so one singular species over and over again is pretty useless in the long run. But what does an integrated farm look like? Sustainable farming practices are more than just crop rotation, which is rotating crops to different bits of land so that soil every now and then can have a bit of a breather. Sustainable farming practices includes and integrates different types of agriculture and animals into the farming system. An example of this is rice duck farming. In this farming system, the ducks not only play a role in increasing their output, but increase rice productivity. The ducks eat the weeds that grow in the rice paddies, and the poo acts as fertilizers. It's genius. The weeds are the problem, and the ducks transforms the weeds into nutrients, killing 2 birds in 1 stone. Oh well, 3 birds, because the ducks might die at the end as food. Food is an essential part of human life. Living in modern society might have reduced our emotional significance of where our food comes from. Like, the agricultural sector is a completely different world, and climate change is making everything more difficult. The stress, fluctuations, unpredictability in our environment and weather is making our food sources unpredictable. But regardless of what your opinions are on our food systems, one thing always stays true. Diversity always wins.